On June 20th, 2024, Taylor Casey, a black transgender woman, went missing from the Sivananda Ashram Yoga Retreat in the Bahamas. She was taking classes to receive her certification so she could teach yoga in Chicago, Illinois. After she never showed up for her class, her family were notified that she had not attended and nobody had seen her since the day before. Despite their reaching out to Taylor's mom, the police would follow up with a lack of investigation and communication, dismissive theories, and potential cover-ups. Was this a tragic accident? A decision to disappear? Or was something nefarious at play on the shores of this yoga retreat? Hello, and welcome back to Grace Benson Investigates, where I deep dive into true crime, paranormal phenomena, cults, and history. Without further ado, let's get into today's case. This is Missing Monday, where I specifically talk about disappearances, some found, but most need to be found. Today's case takes place in the Bahamas. The Bahamas is another one of those that require no introduction. It's a sovereign, independent country located in the Lucian Archipelago in the Atlantic Ocean of the Caribbean. It is actually east of Florida, about 50 miles from Miami, and spreads over 500 miles. This is a place people dream about visiting. It is a very tourist-driven country. This is where Taylor Casey was attended when she disappeared in 2024, never to be seen again. This is her story. Taylor went to the Bahamas to the Sivananda Ashram Yoga Retreat near Paradise Island and Nassau. She was attending a month-long yoga retreat to receive her certification. She arrived at the retreat on June 3rd, 2024. Unfortunately, she failed to attend classes on June 20th, 2024, and no one had seen or heard from her for the rest of the day. Everyone there grew concerned. She was last seen on June 19th, 2024. Around 1 p.m. on June 20th, Colette received a call from someone named Hannah, who worked at the retreat. Hannah asked Colette if she had heard from Taylor. Colette felt upset by this call because she was supposed to be looked after by them. She had not spoken to Taylor since June 18th. When they had that phone call, Colette noticed that she seemed off. She said that she was sending pictures from the beach and appeared happy, but on the final call, she seemed off and said that she was having a hard time bonding with the group. Other guests noticed that she was being separated from the group, and they thought it was because she was transgender. Now, this is just an interpretation, and the truth is unknown. There is a video where a worker approaches and sits next to Taylor, almost brushing up against her, and Taylor flinches, looking terrified. Colette got that feeling that they did not believe Taylor was in danger, but rather than she left willingly. Everything just seemed out of Taylor's character and from what I've heard about her. She seemed like a positive person who got along with everyone. She also was not one to just give up and leave. The fact that she was down shows me that things must have been really bad for her to feel defeated. Colette was even more upset because the retreat did not alert authorities until 9:30 p.m., June 20th. When Hannah called Colette, she told her that she had not called the authorities because of the 24-hour rule and that she was going to go look for Taylor. Colette told her do what she needs to do, then let her know where Taylor is. Colette was livid. Then a mutual friend of Colette's and Taylor's posted the missing persons flyer. Colette describes this as being in denial. Taylor was born on July 11th, 1982 in Harvey, Illinois, which is just south of Chicago. She is a black transgender woman who fought for the transgender community back in Chicago and was an advocate for youth in the community. After graduating from high school, Taylor joined the Air Force and served for 2.5 years before being medically discharged. She worked as a program manager at the Chicago Freedom School, which focuses on developing education and leadership among young black communities. She also did some work at the Howard Brown House, which serves the LGBTQ plus community. It was here that she met someone named Zara. With Taylor's help, Zara applied for a job at Howard Brown, which she ended up getting. She credits Taylor for her success. Sometimes it just helps to have the right people believe in you. Zara went to college and was working on a PhD at Harvard, but I'm not sure if she completed it yet. Taylor began working with the Broadway Youth Center through Howard Brown. This is a center that helps young people who are struggling with homelessness or those without stable housing accommodations. Taylor also valued her relationship with God and attended a predominantly Black and LGBTQ plus church in Chicago called the Lighthouse Church of Chicago. She helped out at the church to help the community. She seemed to really care about helping everyone better themselves and lifting themselves up. She's described as an intelligent, kind, thoughtful, and happy. Colette described her daughter as her flower child because she loved flowers and gardening. They had a close relationship, and Taylor called her mom all of the time. Another person who has been a spokesperson for Taylor's case is her best friend Emily. They met in either 2008 or 2009 at a housewarming party for a mutual friend. A week later, they ran into each other on the train. Then Emily booked an appointment with Taylor to get her hair done. Taylor actually ran a salon out of her home. Taylor had been practicing yoga for 15 years. She loved yoga and it brought her a lot of peace. She encouraged everyone to try it and feel passionate about sharing it with her community. She set a goal to become an instructor, specifically in Sivananda yoga, and to open up a studio in Chicago. This is the practice of yoga poses and meditation. Taylor decided to get her certification at the Sivananda Ashram yoga retreat in the Bahamas. She was excited to not only travel and visit a new place, but also get closer to a goal of teaching yoga and to really bring back her new experiences. Now back to the timeline. Taylor missed one of her classes and no one saw her. They notified her mother, who saw that she was struggling. She was being ostracized by the group, or possibly due to her identity. Colette was worried and panicked over her daughter disappearing from the retreat. Now we're going to get into the so-called investigation. On June 21st, the Royal Bahamas Police Force issued a missing person poster. On June 24th, a press conference aired describing Taylor as a light-skinned black woman, approximately 5'10" and 145 pounds. She wore her hair naturally, usually covered by a do-rag. Colette was quoted as saying she believed Taylor was in danger because she was excited and looking forward to teaching what she had learned. The Ministry of Tourism was investigated as well and announced that they could only share what information they had released. People close to Taylor thought this was protecting tourism, not the investigation. Her disappearance was also investigated by the U.S. State Department, but people close to Taylor really doubted their efforts. Taylor's niece decided to try to access her location on Find My Friends. This is when Taylor's phone was pinging in the ocean. This could be miscalculated because sometimes the location is a little off. The search team looked into this and found that her was at a depth of 56 feet off the shore. However, the police did nothing with the discovery, just said they could not recover any data. Apparently, the Bahamas Authority asked American police to help unlock the phone. I do not know if anything was ever found. Colette was able to download her call log because she was listed as a manager on her Verizon account. She did have 3 different calls from one number. The last one lasted 16 minutes on the last day Taylor was seen on June 19th at 10 p.m. It is not known if authorities tried to identify this caller and talk with them. On June 25th, there was another press conference where they discussed search efforts, including divers, K9 unit, ATV, etc. They also tried to claim to have been working closely with Taylor's family and have a good relationship with them, but we know this was not true. On June 26th, her mother Colette Seymour and best friend Emily traveled to Paradise Island with a contingent to coordinate with local authorities. They said as soon as they landed, they felt unwelcome. They gave Colette shit for having Emily there. I guess she was asking a bunch of questions and this rubbed them the wrong way. Colette did mention that she really was grateful to have Emily there, helping her ask the right questions. They also did not see any missing person posters, not even at the freaking retreat. The investigation did not happen the way they tried to portray it. They claimed that the search for Taylor was extensive, but then informed them that they only searched between the retreat and the Atlantis resort, where she was staying. This is about a 15-minute walk. They did claim that the scent dogs tracked Taylor's scent, but lost it at the water. This was on June 22nd. It really was not groundbreaking information as she was in the Bahamas and visited the beach. Authorities gave different stories about her tent, which again means nothing as it was her tent. They said they picked it up by the tree line, which was 50 to 60 feet from the ocean. Her mother said of her disappearance, quote, "Oh, how I yearn for that call today. I wonder where you are. Are you okay? Are you in danger? Are you sick? Are you hurt? My nights are sleepless with worry about you." Unquote. She requested help from the FBI because she did not feel like the local authorities were doing enough. She said that when she arrived at the retreat, the scene had not been searched and there were no missing posters around. Inside her tent, there were clothing, a sketch pad, affirmation cards, and a Bible. They received CCTV footage, but they said there was no evidence connected to Taylor's disappearance. Around 3 weeks after Taylor disappeared, the chief superintendent and officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, Michael Johnson, was suspended. A voice note of his was leaked to the media calling into question the integrity of the police department and the investigation. They told the public that the investigation would not be affected by the suspension. It did come out in August that the voice notes that were related to his dropping an investigation into a prominent gang leader in the area. Again, they said it was unrelated to Taylor's case and it would not impact it. But if there's this level of corruption, how can they trust that? Now, the man who released these notes was shot on Facebook Live while he was criticizing the Bahama police. He did survive. There was no proof that the police were ever involved. I have to say, the police are trained to kill if necessary. If they wanted him dead, he probably would be dead. It is suspicious as crap, though. Colette and Emily visited the retreat where Hannah, the girl who informed her of Taylor's disappearance, was teaching a class. She saw them and did not stop to speak to Colette. They had no posters up. They made a statement on June 25th saying, quote, "A participant from our yoga certification program, Taylor Casey, is missing on June 20th. We requested the police investigate and inform the U.S. Embassy and Miss Casey's family. Miss Casey's disappearance was discovered on June 20th when she did not attend morning class. She was last seen at the retreat late on the evening of June 19th. We urge anyone with information on Miss Casey's whereabouts to contact the local police immediately, working with authorities in their investigation. Your assistance is greatly appreciated." Unquote. Colette and Emily were not only disappointed with the authorities in the Bahamas, but also the retreat. Taylor was a visitor and getting training from them, and they did not seem to care. Most people would not speak to them, and the ones who would seemed to have rehearsed answers. Supposedly, Taylor was closest with Hannah and the guy who stayed in the tent next to Taylor's. Neither of these, though, would speak with her family. Taylor's family believed the lack of effort stemmed from biases against Taylor for being transgender. On top of that, the swamis were less than helpful. A swami, according to Google, is a yoga instructor or a monk at the highest level. That is a very basic explanation. Well, these swamis would go up to the people Colette and Emily were speaking to and pull them away. Other staff members would do this as well. One of these guests told the ladies that someone had been followed around on the beach asking about yoga classes, wearing a Celtic hat, and saying that he was from Chicago. Then a man was seen near Taylor's tent with a walkie-talkie. This was the day Taylor went missing. After being told this, the person was pulled away. The retreat's HR consultant, Peter Goody, denied anything nefarious had happened and implied that she left willingly. He said there was no struggle, which just proves she wasn't taken out of her tent. She often went to the beach, so it could have happened there, and there would be really no sign of a struggle at the beach. The people they spoke to had no idea that anyone was missing. She did not leave via boat, according to the boat operator. The only other way to leave is walk down the beach side, but this is not advised after dark, as it is not safe. That being said, there was no safety or security measures in place. Also, we do not know what happened to Taylor, so other people could be in danger. Also, why not let the family speak with people unless you're trying to hide things? The other piece of this is when Colette and Emily went to Taylor's tent and her belongings were still there. These are the things that if Taylor had left willingly, she would have taken. Her journal was gone, but that's because the police had it. Aside from the journal being missing, it did not appear the police searched it properly. No fingerprints were taken and it was not secure, so anyone could walk in and destroy any evidence. Meanwhile, the retreat, like the police, was betraying itself to the public as worried about Taylor, even though its actions did not show that. They released a statement saying, quote, "The Sivananda, Ashram, and our community are all distraught over Taylor's disappearance, and our collective hearts go out to her family and friends." Unquote. Colette and Emily left 3 days later because they felt unsafe. When they got to the Bahamas, they had signs welcoming them, saying, "Welcome, Colette." Her child was missing and this was not a vacation. Then when they got to the police station, they were made to turn off their phones and hand them over. They wanted to separate the women, but they refused. On July 11th, 2024, on Taylor's 42nd birthday, supporters protested outside City Hall, urging the U.S. government to get involved. Both Colette and Emily spoke at this protest, calling for action. They talked about violence against the black transgender women and that there is little to no justice for the majority of the community. Let's get into the theories. The first one that authorities pushed hard was that Taylor left on her own free will. Maybe she simply ran away or ended her life. This makes no sense. She was taking steps to get certified to build her business. She had all these plans. She's not going to end her life because some little transphobic freaks were mean to her. Her body was also never found. Running away is weird too. She would take classes, then run away from her life instead of just coming home. She never got on a plane or a boat, so how did she leave? She's literally on an island. Her family believes that someone hurt Taylor. I mean, if you're going to end your life, why would you take your phone with you anyways? Also, her passport was never found, and it was never used since Taylor got into the Bahamas. Again, why would you bring it with you if you were just going to end your life? The family believes that someone did something to Taylor, threw her phone into the ocean. I believe the theory was that something bad happened to her, most likely caused by another person, if not people, possibly by the beach. Honestly, if the eyewitnesses of the man on the walkie-talkie is to be believed, it sounds like possible human trafficking. This is the type of location where trafficking happens, but I also think it could be someone on the retreat, as she was having a hard time with people, possibly because of her identity. I want to bring the case back to Taylor. She was a kind woman who just wanted to help, uplift, and improve any community she was a part of. Whether it's the Black community, the LGBTQ community, or her faith. She definitely deserved a better investigation. My heart goes out to Colette and Emily. I cannot imagine my daughter going missing in another country and get no help. Then to go 2 years with no answers. Taylor should be 44 years old this year. She had been missing for 2 years when I'm recording this video in June 2026. There's a reward of $10,000 for any information leading to Taylor's whereabouts. I urge anyone with information about Taylor's whereabouts to come forward. I'll leave the numbers and the pages dedicated to Taylor in the description. I want to know your opinion. What do you think happened to Taylor? But please be respectful. If you're a judgmental dick, you will be removed and blocked. Comment, subscribe, and like. If you have any future cases you'd like me to cover, please request one using the form in the description. Join me next time when I cover a history case. I'm not sure what day I'm going to post it, just because my schedule's a little off, but it'll be up probably in a few days. Until next time, stay curious, cautious, and safe. Bye.